Greetings from Goblin Valley, Nissedal, Norway. I am here, so you don't have to be. People, this is another day worth celebrating. Just like when I received the Smokestack Mods 12.6 volt series mech mod. This time I got this Sith V2 from Silver Wolf Customs of the Philippines. This is a handmade Philippine mod that uses 4 batteries in parallel, and of course mechanic unregulated. I thought we'd have a closer look at it and have the emphasis on what coils to use and what coils not to use, and the benefits and the pros and cons. And of course the sun is shining for the first time here in Goblin Valley for a month. So a true blue 100 proof corn whiskey from Texas. I think that's in order for today. Roasted blue corn. Yep. So here it is, the Sith V2 from Silver Wolf Customs of the Philippines. Here is the other side with the white paint-filled engravings. It's of course serialized, number 230. The box is in aluminium. The top plate is in brass. Sorry, but I have used it for many hours today to test out stuff. So it's not as, yeah, there it is. It's highly polished and very, very beautiful. The firing button, as with all handmade Philippine mods, it's so soft. You would think this was a MOSFET switch. The Philippines are just marvelous at making these switches, just like the Marley box from Anino. There at the bottom you have 4 magnets. They are really not necessary, but you have the same magnets on this bottom plate. And just as with the 510 connection, there is a copper screw. They also uses copper screws as contacts in the brass, massive brass bottom plate. As you see, these screws have a, let me see if I can show you real quick. The bottom screws has this edge. They are hollowed out. So if you put a battery the wrong way round with the positive down, the positive will not make contact with the screw. So there is actually a very efficient safety feature on this totally mechanical mod. The only gripe I have is with these copper screws. As you can see, they have forgotten to file the ledges of the slits. These are of course adjusted with a coin or with a fingernail, but they forgot obviously to file down after they made these slits in these copper screws, and that's of course not what you would expect from them. And I have never had a Philippine mod that they have forgotten to file down the grades on, but they did on these bottom screws. So let's put in the batteries, and positive is up, and you just fit them in like so, and you just have to unscrew the screw I put in. So everything is flat and nice. There is one edge that is smooth. The other has this ledge, and this ledge fits inside this groove. So you just take your polished edge on the side that doesn't have this this groove, and you just slide it in like this. So the magnets actually holds the bottom lid. I'm unsure why they use magnets here, because you slide it in and you push it in, and you just use a coin and tighten these screws ever so slightly. So I don't really understand why they would put those 4 magnets in on the bottom plate, but maybe I'll figure that out. I know they say you can tighten these screws with just your fingernail, but I have changed battery in this once, and one of the batteries was not empty. So I am tightening them just a little bit by using this this coin, and since then it's worked splendid. The measurements on the top. This is of this is highly interesting. I have used the Sheridan 28mm RDA with no overhang whatsoever. I think the Sheridan 28mm is a very strange and heavy and yeah, well, it has fantastic flavor, but I just don't like it. My favorites have always been these Death Trap from Death Wish, and I just had to see if I could build a single coil on this one. The reason I say that is because this is a 4 battery parallel mechanical mod. Yes, it delivers 4.2 volts, but with 425 amp batteries, like the ones I have here, it can push 100 amps through the coils on your RDA, and that is a lot of power. I have had Claptons, like, I mean, huge ones, like I think this is 2 cores of 22 gauge wire and a wrap of 26 or 28 gauge wire. I mean, this is just a massive coil, and that was the solution for using Claptons on this one. I also tried using many parallel, some parallel builds. I used very exotic builds like these guys. So you know, you have to figure out what to use on a mod like this, because this 4 battery parallel monster from Smokestack Mods, it's 12.4 volts, but limited down, of course, to 20 amps or 25 amps or what your battery pushes. Now, the reason you want 4 parallel batteries is, of course, building coils with very low ohms. Like This goes down to 0.05 or 0.03. It just depends on what kind of battery you uses. But you also have to have coils that can manage that kind of power. And if you talk 0.05 ohms, you have to have very slow and very big and complicated Claptons for this one. There is also another benefit, and that is if you can use the flat wire that I build and make coils like these that are very flat and very thin with a huge inner diameter. Now if this one runs at 0.08 ohms and it's deadly, the cotton and everything just catches fire. It's not recommended to use that kind of coil. But if you use a moderate flat wire coil, like a 20 gauge with a diameter of 5 millimeters, this is just 0.16 or 0.17 ohm. If you do that, the batteries in this mod, 4 in parallel, they have they loses their voltage very slowly, and you literally have batteries for 2 or 3 days. And the flavor and the amount of vapor you get from this will be the same as if you used the huge Claptons. So if you swear to using big and complicated stage coils or Clapton stage or staged, or you know what I'm talking about, the big power hungry slow coils, then you need all the power this one can deliver. But if you use a more economic coil design, then you have battery life for days and the same amount of flavor and the same amount of vapor, of course. Now, as you can see, the ramp-up time for this coil is, of course, it's immediate. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I mean, these coils are just so efficient. So yeah, let's get topside again, have a drink and have a vape. So, cheers. Excuse me for the lighting. It goes, the sun goes behind clouds and reappears again. But who doesn't love sunshine? One thing I forgot to mention is that with the biggest RDAs I had, the contact screw in the connection doesn't go far enough down, so you end up with a 1/4 millimeter gap. So I made it a habit already of using a Delrin disc in between. So no matter what I put on, it always fits perfectly. Now, the most important thing about flavor chasing, if you use low ohms and lots of amps, or higher ohms with lots of volts, for flavor chasing it doesn't really matter at all. The only problems I have had in flavor chasing is single battery mods, because they need ramp up time, they need electronic preheating, or you have to, you know, blow in the mouthpiece and watch the vapor come out before you take and the inhale. So if you want just to start from a cold mod by the side of your computer or wherever you are, and just want a hit, you need the power from 2 batteries. They can be in series or they can be in parallels. The important thing for flavor chasing is choosing the right coil material, choosing the right ohms for your battery's capacity, and regulate the airflow using cotton and the size of the coils to regulate the airflow. So what do I prefer? The 0.16 ohm flat coil or the 0.7 flat coil? 12 volts, 4 volts. Let's have a comparison. So for me, where I'm sitting, I can't obviously see how the clouds look, but in flavor, maybe this RDA has an edge because this is a 30mm RDA. It will not fit on this one without overhang, and it will not fit properly because the connection is a bit too long. This RDA is smaller, so the mixture of air and flavor is different. I will not say the one has better flavor than the other. It's just that the notes from the e-juice are different. This is more of the medium to ground notes, and this is more of the higher notes and medium notes. So it's actually down to a matter of taste and the matter of what you like to hold in your hands. This is heavier than this one. So you will, if you put this in your shirt pocket, you will go around like this. And not so much with this one, but then again you have to have very big pockets. So I will classify both of these as desktop mods. You just don't go outside carrying either one of these two. So yeah, there you have it. From what I've tested today, it's now 10 hours in. I love this one. I will probably put a 25 or 27 single coil RDA if I can get one, because that's what I prefer. But this 24 Death Trap from Death Wish, both design wise and in flavor production and of course vapor production, you can't have flavor without huge clouds. This is a very good combination. So you can either use these finger grips and use your thumb. I prefer to use my finger like so, and yeah, that's it.